Okay, folks, welcome back to part 4 of our Python Pygame Hangman game, our little Hangman game that we're creating in Pygame. So far, this has been a fun project. What we're going to go ahead with today is we're going to add some functionality to the game screen regarding these alphabet buttons. Sorry, just hang on a second for me. I just need to correct that quickly. We're running the wrong program. We need to run this one. Run main 4. That's what we need to run. Fantastic. What we want to do is we want to add some functionality. So when the mouse goes over these buttons, we want it to highlight the button. So we want the button to stand out with a red color, so that we know that the mouse is contacting that one. Then once we've done that, we want to add the functionality that if we've selected that button, it must remain red or colored in or filled in or whatever the color is we choose, it must remain that color. That way we know that we cannot select that button again. It has already been selected. This is fairly straightforward to do, and what we're going to do is we're going to start off by going up to our buttons, our button object where we create our Hangman button, and at the top there we're going to create a little method above my draw method. We're going to call it define mouse highlight button. Right, we'll just call it mouse highlight. Oh my goodness, look at this spelling. Highlight, mouse highlight. And it's going to be self as always, and then the window, which is our game screen. Alright, so what we'll put in a little comment there, we're going to say highlights the rectangle if the mouse is hovering over this button. Okay, so how we do that, we're going to go, first thing we'll do is we'll go pygame.draw.rect, because we're basically going to draw a little rectangle on the screen. This time the color is not going to be white, it's going to be 255 and 0, 0, and that is of course red. And then the position, the coordinates of this rectangle, we want it to be in basically the same space as our letter. So we're going to have self.imageRect at the X position, self.imageRect at the Y position, self.imageRect size, and then self.imageRect length of the rectangle. Okay, once you've got that, close that brackets. Then we're going to now blit the actual letter on top of this rectangle. Otherwise, the rectangle will just cover the rectangle that we're drawing, the square, is just going to cover the letter. We don't want that. We still want to be able to see the letter. And then self position is obviously the position of the button itself. It doesn't change. The next thing we want to do is we want to go to pygame.draw.rect to the window, and it'll be white. And this is obviously the box surrounding the I'm just actually going to go ahead quickly. It's the box surrounding the letter. We don't want to lose, we still want to reflect that. And then at the end of this, we want to include a width or a line thickness. That means that it's the outline of the box and not the box itself. Alright, so now we've created the mouse highlight function or method. We want to call that method every single time the mouse coordinates collide with the position of the button. It's also fairly straightforward to do. What we're going to do is we're going to go down to our main game loop, down the bottom here, underneath our little functions, and we're just going to put in a little comments and say detect mouse collision with buttons, and then we're going to go for we'll call them alpha button. For alpha button in alpha buttons list. Remember, we created a list of all of our buttons, our alphabetical buttons. Oh, we see now, see. Alphabet, and over here. It's not alpha buttons, it's alphabet buttons. That's our word list, our list of letters, or our list of objects representing letters, so on and so forth. So for each one, so we're going to cycle through them in a for loop, and we're going to check with each one. If that particular alphabet button dot image rect dot collide point with the Pygame dot mouse dot get pos. So if the mouse position of the mouse collides with the position of the alphabetical buttons, that particular button must then call its method alphabet button dot mouse highlight, and obviously we're going to draw it to the game screen because we have an argument for window. And I have a little warning here. What's this error? It's line 19. Let's go back up to line 19. I've left out a brackets, square brackets. Line 19, square brackets. There's that one that starts there. That's where we left out a bracket. There we go. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm just going to show you how the code runs quickly. So we're going to run the game. And if I move my mouse over one of these squares, it should turn red. It does not. Invalid rectangle index. That's interesting. Line 17. Invalid 0, 1. Aha! 2, 3. Yeah. So what we've done is there is no for. So it's self.imageRect 0, it's self.image 1, 2, 3. So if we try and run it again, so what is happening now is it's busy picking up the position, the coordinates of my mouse cursor. And as I move it around, obviously it's updating those coordinates. Now, as soon as my mouse collides with one of these squares, let's say A, it should turn red. Ta-da! And the same should be for B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, R, all of the buttons. That is fantastic, it's working. But now obviously if we click, nothing happens because we are not calling any methods or functions to deal with clicking. But just know that this part of the code is working and our mouse has now got some functionality, which is fantastic. So the next thing we're going to go ahead and do is actually create, I suppose we'll have to create the functionality of clicking a mouse. So we're going to be selecting each button, and then what does it do after we've selected the button? In order to do that, we're going to create a utility function. But before that we do that, we're going to go down to our game settings, go to our game variables. Okay, we're going to leave those two prints there so we can at least see what our words are. We're going to create a little variable called mouse clicked, and we're going to call that false. Right. Then we're going to go right up to the top, just below our buttons and our utility functions. We're going to create a function called button clicking. It's straightforward, it's not too difficult. I think I'm going to do this, actually I'm not going to create a function for it. I'll put it into a function just now. I originally did it straight in the actual main game loop, and I'm going to show you, I want to put it there first. So you can see how it was and how it looked before I went and put it into a function by itself. I think that's fair enough. Just so you can get an idea of what my thinking was and where I was. So I'm going to come down to my main game loop under my for event in Pygame events.get. If event.type is Pygame.quit, run equals false, that's fine. We're going to go below that and we're going to say if event.type is equal to Pygame.mouse button down. Right. And we can also say stick with a mouse button down. We'll stick with that for now. The first thing we want to do is we want to change our mouse clicked variable to true. All right. So once we've changed, we're going to click and change that to true. And then this is where I created the function call, but we're not going to create it as a function. We're going to put it straight into the loop so that you can see the effects of it there. Once we've created a mouse clicked is equal to true, we then go ahead and we create a for loop alphabet buttons for item in alphabet buttons. So again, now we're doing a collision detection of the mouse to see where it is that exactly that we clicked. So we're going to go if item.image rect.collide point, right, is event.pos. So that little line basically means, so for each item in alphabet button, so for each button in that list, it's going to go through, it's going to check if that button's image rectangle collides with the event.pos. And the event.pos is my mouse click, my mouse button down. So that's basically a coordinates, x and y coordinates. If they collide, and then we're going to say after that, if there's a collision, then if my item.letter is in the chosen word. So if the letter we have clicked on is in my the Hangman chosen word, which is total. So if I clicked on the letter O, yes, it's in the chosen word, right? We then go ahead and we say for index and letter. Where do you use that one? Let's just keep it simple. Let's go with index letter in enumerate function chosen word. Right. So basically, we want to get enumerate. That should be right. No, it's still not right. Come on. There we go. For index letter in enumerate chosen word. So it's nice cycling through the chosen word, right? And then it's going to pick up. So firstly, we did the check to make sure that the letter is actually in the chosen word. And then if it is in the chosen word, it's then going to cycle through that chosen word. And then it's going to check if my item.letter is equal to let, which is that letter in the chosen word. And if that's the case, we're going to update guess word, our guess word list at that index point with the item.letter. Okay, that's quite a mouthful. All right. Then we're going to say, we're going to drop it back to if my item.letter is in the chosen word. If it's not in the chosen word, so basically elif item.letter not in chosen word and item.active. I wonder if I've created that attribute. Anyway, we'll go check now. And the item is active. We're then going to update a variable called number of guesses, which you will remember we created at the top by 1. All right. And then just to finish this off, at the end of this for loop, right? At the end of this little if elif, so if the item is if the mouse click collides with a letter, which is still going to be putting in here, then the item.active will now be equal to false. Let's just quickly go check if we've created the .active attribute under our Hangman buttons. There it is there. We have created it. See, every button is currently active true, which means it's select. We're using that to say that the button is selectable. All right. So now we've just created an event for if we click the mouse button, it cycles through my alphabet buttons list of objects, and then it checks that if the item, each button collides with, which button collides with my mouse click, and then if there is a collision, then it goes, if the item letter, the letter of that alphabet is in my chosen word, If that's the case, then it cycles through the chosen word and it replaces, it gets the index of where in that chosen word is that letter, and then it goes and replaces that letter in the guess word, which we will be using shortly. I'm just going to run this now quickly, and you should see, if I click A, it should remain red. Okay, the word that we know is rest. So let's go ahead and put E. There, that's what we've just done. Because once it's determined that the letter we've clicked on is actually in my chosen word, it then goes and replaces that letter, replaces it in my guess word, basically, which then gets printed to the screen above these lines. The fact that my little E here disappears is weird, but I'm sure we'll fix it shortly. Close this so we can carry on going. No one come back. Alright, so now we've included that function. Then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to come down. So now obviously we've set our mouse click to clicked, so our mouse is still being clicked over there, so it's still showing that mouse clicked is equal to true. We then need to change that to lf event.type is equal to pygame.mouse button up. Once that happens, so once you let go of the button, my mouse clicked will then be equal to false. Alright. I just want to go up to the top there. I just want to check something under my objects to resolve that little issue we have of the buttons disappearing. That's a very weird one. It's weird. Just give me a second. I think it's got to do with I'm missing a method. So once we've done button clicking, we've done the button clicking. Okay, under your Hangman button object, under the define draw method, you'll remember we wrote if the button is set to active, it draws to the screen. If it's no longer active, it no longer draws to the screen, and that's the issue. So there we need to put in an else statement and say self.mouse highlight. We'll call that. It's fairly straightforward. Every time we're drawing the function, pulling the method for drawing our letter to the screen, it's checking to see if it's active. If it's active, it's true, then it will go ahead and draw just the letter in the box to the screen. If it's set to false, the active is set to false, it then draws the highlight window permanently. Okay, so let's go ahead and just test that quickly. If I click on the A button now, it should stay there, even though A is not in this word, so A should not appear here. Oh, fantastic. Oh, look there, and even the arm would increase. Remember, we increased the stage level because the number of guesses was plus equals 1. So if we do the E button, E gets pushed to my word. That's fantastic. So if I put F, cool, T, what happens if I click T again? Nothing. If I use U, nothing. Good. Good. Put the C, put the P, put the R, and we're screwed because nothing else works now anymore. We can go with I, but the game doesn't end because we can click on all the buttons if we want. There's no end state for the game. Perfect. Isn't that just fantastic? Right. The next thing we need to do. Sorry, I'm just looking through my notes. I have a method that I created that I don't call anyway, which is quite hilarious. So anyway, what we have now, we've basically got a Hangman game that's working. The only problem is there's no end phase of the game. There's no way to end it. Here we can see our word is top. So let's just guess A, which prints another arm, which is correct. Let's press T, the word posed there. O, P, P. But now the game should end. It doesn't end. And that's what we're going to see if we can fix that now quickly. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to come down to, let me just make this. We're going to come down to our game variables. Under our game variables and load functions, under mouse clicked, we're now going to put in a little game over variable, and so that's equal to false. We're also going to include a win streak. That's going to be equal to 0. The other thing we're going to do is number of guesses. We're going to change that back to 0. Why did that do that? Let's go to 0. No. 0. There we go. Alrighty then. So we've included our game over and we've included our win streak variables.
Can I explain myself on the laptop, please?
In 5 minutes. Okay, I'll come call you.
But 5 minutes is too long.
It's going to be quick. Let's go. I'll come call you.
I understood Mr. Yo.
Connor, I can't do it now. You got to go, boy. I'll come call you, right?
I saw Mr. Nixon now.
I'll come call you, my boy. Just hang on. Alright. We come down to our main game loop. Right at the bottom here, under the pygame.display.update, we're going to include a little check to say if. And we're going to do a little join function. The join method for our list of our guess word. And if that word is equal to my chosen word, or number of guesses variable is equal to 6. So if my guess word is equal to the chosen word, or if my number of guesses reaches 6, my stage level equals 6, we're then going to change our game over variable to true. And once we've changed our game over variable to true, we're going to call a new function, our end of game function. We're going to call it end game. And of course, we haven't created that function, so we're going to go ahead and create it now quickly. So up at the top there by our utilities functions, right underneath the draw alphabet, we're going to go there and create our end game. Okay. This is a fairly large function that I created. It's going to deal with the entire end stage of our game. But once it's done, it's done. It's not too bad. It's not too crazy, but it'll deal with a couple of things. So the first thing we're going to put in the comment, say handles the end of a round. Okay. We're going to go ahead. We're going to name a couple of variables. We're going to make them global variables so that we can access them from within this function. So we want to. Our chosen word is actually a list. We don't need to make it declare it as a global, but we're going to do that anyway. Same with our guessed word. It's not really neat. It's a list. Lists are always accessible from functions. Our number of guesses is a variable, but we are going to affect them from within this function. So we do need to find them as global variables. The other one we're going to make global is our game over variable. And the last one is our win streak variable. Okay, so we've got 5 global variables there. Then we're going to go and say if dot join guessed word is equal to our chosen word, and the win streak will be plus equals 1. And that is a capital S there. Okay. And then we're going to start a new game loop. We're going to say while game over, because now obviously the game over is now set to true. We're going to say if dot join guess word equal to chosen word. We're then going to go ahead once we've done that. I'm sorry, I'm just checking something here because I'm duplicating quite a bit here. Okay, I think I can cut this down a bit. What is that? Alphabet buttons. What? I don't need to do that. That's going to happen anyway. Okay, that's going to happen. That's going to happen. So I think we can do that here. So while the game over loop, we're then going to say alphabet buttons dot clear. So we're going to clear the buttons listing. The game screen fill. We're going to fill the screen with black. Okay. The next one we're going to do. Okay. This is where, so that part gets done already for both. So now if the guess word is equal to the chosen word, we're then going to create a message variable. We're going to call the draw letters function. Remember up top we created the function that creates text on the screen. And we need a special formatting. Congratulations, you guessed. And those wonderful curly brackets. Chosen word, exclamation mark. Okay, close brackets. Then we're going to call that to the screen. We'll say game screen dot lit. Then it's going to be the message, and the position will be screen width dot 2 divided by 2 minus the message dot get width. Message dot get width also divided by 2. Right. So that's my X position. My Y position will be screen height divided by 2 plus, no, it'll just be divided by 2. Okay. Then, that's covered. Then we're just going to say message is equal to draw letters. Click to play a game. This is kind of being duplicated, this one. So I'm going to type it out here, but I'm going to move it. Game screen dot lit, and it's going to be the message, and the position will be screen width divided by 2 minus message dot get width divided by 2, and then the Y position will be screen height divided by 2 plus 30. This message gets duplicated, so I'm going to take this, I'm going to cut it, and I'm going to put it over here. Alright, click to play again. And so if those two words combine, okay, then we can say, well, elif number of guesses is equal to 6. Okay, if it's equal to 6, we're just going to take this quickly and paste it there. Message is going to be equal to sorry you lost, the word was, and the chosen word will reflect on the screen. One more thing we need to do here is we then need to reset our win streak. Win streak will be equal to 0. Okay, my win streak rate gets increased. I could have included it here, but I didn't. I included it in my game. So once we've done that, because now obviously we're running a little loop here on its own, we then still need to remember to call the pygame.display.update. Otherwise, none of this stuff is going to be reflecting on the screen. The last thing we want to do after the screen update, I just want to include this here. We need to include this because we're running a loop here. and we're not going to be able to get out of this loop, and we're not going to pick up any of our events. And also we're saying we need to click, so we're going to run a for event in pygame.event.get. Right? For events in pygame event.get, if event.type is equal to pygame.mouse button down. Right? And we're going to say number of x's will be changed back to 0. I guess it will change back to 0. Our chosen word, it needs to choose a new word. So we're going to call the function select random word dot upper, because it has to be capital letters. Did we do that when we called the word in the first place? Chosen word? Yes, we did. Okay. Then the next thing we need to do, our guessed word, that list, is then going to be changed to for letter in chosen word. Okay, we're clearing that list again. We're then going to create our alphabet buttons objects. And we're going to draw those to the screen again. Alphabet buttons was my argument, that list. Game over, we need to reset that back to false. And then we say if event.type is equal to pygame.quit. We're going to say pygame.quit. Okay, what should happen now is we should be able to go through the Hangman. We should be able to select the words.
What's the words?
The words, look, so we want to select, we want to say rule. So we look for the R, we click on the R. There, it shows on the screen there. Then we're going to go with U. And then we're going to choose the wrong letter. Look, then the head comes up. And then D is the wrong word. And then A is the wrong one. Oh no, what's happening? Oh no, he's the Hangman. Diff. If I click Y. Sorry, you lost. The word was rule. Click to play again. We click to play again. The game resets. Our word is, oh, now it's rule. Well, that's easy. No. That's not rule. That's the old word we had. Oh dear. Let's go with A, E. I'm still losing. O, U. U. Uh-oh. S. Funny. The word was funny.
Daddy, can I just sit down?
Go get a chair.
Okay.
O, U, T, R. Terrible, probably. Congratulations, you guessed terrible. Click to play again. That's fantastic. That's Hangman the game. The last thing we've got, I see our win streak is not reflecting on the screen. I just want to fix that quickly. Why is win streak not reflecting on the screen? Where are we supposed to be calling that? Win streak, win streak, win streak, win streak. Is not. Ah, there we go. Right at the top under draw alphabet. Underneath this one here. We go with game screen dot lit draw letters. Sorry about that. Draw letters F. Okay, Connor, sit down. Winning streak. Like that. And we're going to make it a string. Win streak.
Daddy, how are you going to send the game again?
Hey, I'll start it again, you'll see. And then win streak is there, that's that. Then we just need to put in the position. It's going to be screen width minus 300, 100. Close it, we'll run it one more time and our win streak should be up on the screen. It's cool, eh, my boy? There's our winning streak. There's our Hangman game. It's a 3-letter word. His. So let's just his. We win. Winning streak. We've won 1 round so far. Now we don't know what the next word is. We'll go with A. It's not that one. E. Ooh. I. Nope. O. What about N? Nope. S? Uh-oh. T? Uh-oh. R? Oh, sorry, you lost. The word was welcome. Click to play again. If I
What's
close that,
welcome?
the game ends. Thank you very much for following along with this little series. I hope you enjoyed it. And I'll see you guys in the next one.